All right, so in this video, I want to talk about using the Google Classroom. Now, for the purpose of our school, we're using the Google Classroom mostly as a hub for communication. Some teachers may post resources that too, but Summit Learning is still the main place you're going to go to submit work, to actually take assessments, to find resources for those assessments and for the projects. But it doesn't hurt to have things in both places, and so sometimes teachers will actually do that. So when you first join or log in to classroom.google.com, you will see lots of interesting features. On the top right-hand side, there's a plus sign that you can use to actually join a class. And if you click join a class, you can actually use a class code to do that. Sometimes the teacher will actually invite you to join a class, and you would have an invite button on one of these little blocks. Each of them represents a class that you're a part of. There's also a to-do review button, a calendar button, and these are really great, so that if the teachers put deadlines within the Google Classroom, which most won't, the calendar feature can be useful. In remote learning, the remote learning team of teachers set up a separate calendar for each grade level for that. So it's probably better to rely on that than to rely on this calendar within Google Classroom, because most teachers won't necessarily be updating or creating assignments for the classroom, because you are turning everything in within the Summit platform. So this is just mostly to allow easier communication between students and teachers. And the to-do list, though, if the teachers did create assignments, will actually have all your due dates here. So again, this is not a replacement for Summit, and so some of these features aren't necessarily what we're going to be using. But if teachers use it, to-do is pretty awesome, because it allows you to actually see kind of like a to-do list of things that you're supposed to turn it in still. Now, from the left side too, so that's for this menu that you click on, you can go back to home. You also can access the calendar and your to-do screen from the bottom here, and you can also go to settings. And settings is really awesome because there's a lot of cool things, including you can enable or disable email notifications. And if you enable email notifications, there's a lot of features that you can turn on or turn off, including some that allows you to create what is called a one notification a day kind of setup. And if you have that option, which teachers don't have it, but students do, it's a really good idea. That way, instead of getting one email for each time an announcement gets posted, you will get one per day for all that happens in that class. And that's usually a little simpler way to get the communication sent to you. And so if that's an option you want to have, you can also disable it, but that would defeat the purpose of having a communication hub. So make sure that actually does stay on, but that you consider selecting the digest option so that you can actually receive one email a day. So again, you can access each of your classes from here, but you can also access them by clicking on the tiles. And the tiles will usually give you information about the name of the class, the grade level, the number of students which are part of the class. And just for now, I'm going to join a class that I had last year, as to use it as an example of how to navigate the classroom. So right on the left side, if you had due dates within the system, they would be listed over here. The name of the class will be at the top. Sometimes teachers will post the link to the meeting or of where you actually meet for the class in there. We're not really doing that necessarily this year, because we're going to have that central document with this agenda, which is a much simpler way to actually connect to each class. So use that instead. The stream view at the top is the most beneficial place to actually see the announcements and postings in the order they were posted. So this is a really good way to see what's changed, kind of like a Facebook feed or a Twitter feed or an Instagram feed, what's been changed since it's been updated. Except instead of, unlike social media, you will see all the updates, not just what's an algorithm says is most relevant to you, right? So anyways, the updates the teacher sends will be communications, and it's very important that you actually read carefully everything the teacher posts, especially the first announcement, but in general, because that is considered content that we're having with you. And so that is why we have the Google Classroom. So make sure that you read all announcements carefully. In addition to announcements, if you go to the classwork view, teachers will often have an organized manner for you to find resources for the class. So that will include, for example, topics. So things will be organized in topics, and you can filter by topic if you click within a topic, and then you'll only see the things that belong to that topic in more detail. Or if you go to the all topics screen, You will just see the title of each thing without the detail. So as you see here, an example, this is typical. I will have in my class materials the link for the class. I will have my office hours link where you can find me in the afternoons. I will have the information about remote learning in general, rules, expectations, resources for remote learning students. And I also will have the remote learner schedule. Again, you can use to access the links for each of the classes, information about virtual practice, which is important for math students. And so all the main resources for a given class will be listed right up here on the top. Then I will often post, like once in a while, a reflection that I expect my students to complete. This is like separate from whatever happens in Summit. It's just kind of like a survey that I do weekly in my class, and I give students an opportunity to tell me where they're at, how they're doing, what I can do better, what they need from me, and it's a way also to reflect on their progress in class. And so I will do that routinely, and I sometimes will also do goal-setting activities at the beginning of classes, and when I do that, they will also be posted within here. Then I also have materials for the unit, and remember, this is not comprehensive. The Summit platform is the place to go to get support and materials for the unit, but I will often post certain key materials for any given unit within the topics as well. And I will also post support for each of the power focus areas that we have for the year. So again, not every teacher is going to be posting a lot of stuff within the platform as far as resources here in the classroom. They will rely mostly on the Summit platform instead. But it's still, at the very least, an announcement feature. Also, I'm not going to go to people right now because then you'll see name of students, and I can't do that. But in the people screen, you can actually see every single student that's in your class, and you have a way to contact them. And that's a really great way to connect to classmates that you may want to request help with, or might want to study with and want to reach out to. And so that is the basics of the Google Classroom. The only last thing I want to show you is that there's also a settings button on the top right here where you can change some settings within each class, notification settings and other things like that. So this is the Google Classroom. Remember, again, it's a hub for resources. And you want to use the stream view to see the most recent announcements and updates, and a classwork view to help find something specific in an organized manner because it's organized within topics, so you can even filter by topic to help find things easier. So I hope you find this helpful, and I'll see you in the next video for our welcome to remote learning.